on the left and right sides of the lower section of the auditorium tagged Exit A and B, as well as 2 on the left and right sides of the upper section of the auditorium tagged Exit C and D. There are 2 columns of seats in the upper section of the auditorium and 3 in the lower section. The high table is situated in front of the columns of seats in the lower section of the auditorium. Tea breaks and refreshment for invited dignitaries and major generals will be served at the lounges situated to the left and right of the conference center. Brigadier generals and below will be served at the recreational tent situated outside the auditorium. The restrooms for your convenience are located at the stairway between the upper and lower sections of the auditorium. The muster point is located in front of the car park of the conference center. Armed guards are stationed at strategic positions to provide security for this event. Kindly acquaint yourselves accordingly. In the unlikely event of an emergency in the conference center, please do not panic. Kindly adhere to the following instructions. Those on the high table and those seated on the first column of seats to the right side of the high table should walk briskly through the door tagged A onto the muster point. The persons seated on the other 2 columns of seats should move in an orderly manner through the door tagged B and onto the muster point. Those on the right aisle of the upper section should move through the door tagged Exit C, while those on the left aisle should exit the building through the door tagged D and move to the muster point. Physically challenged persons should be assisted by those seated next to them to evacuate the building. In the event of power outage during emergency, the exits marked in reflective material will help guide you to the nearest exit point and onto the designated muster point. Should you forget any item, please do not go back into the building. Your safety is our priority. Thanks for your attention and please remain safe. This message is from the Department of Army Standards and Evaluation.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, that was the safety brief to consolidate the security arrangement already put in place in the unlikely event of any emergency. The special guest of honor, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, having listened to the safety brief, please permit me to intimate you with the highlights of the day's activities. Immediately after these highlights, we shall commence this program with a welcome address by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya. After the Chief of Army Staff welcome address, he shall present souvenirs to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. After this, the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, His Excellency, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, the Matawal in Sokoto, will be giving his remarks. This will be followed closely by the remarks of the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, retired. After the Honorable Minister's remarks, I shall respectfully request the Chief of Army Staff to invite the special guest of honor to present Nigerian Army Recognition Awards to eminent personalities in recognition of their contributions to the Nigerian Army. Thereafter, we shall all see an audiovisual documentary on the support of the federal government for the Nigerian Army. Afterwards, I will invite the Chief of Policy and Plans Army, Major General A.B. Omozoji, to give a vote of thanks on behalf of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army. After the vote of thanks, we shall have the privilege of listening to the address of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. Immediately after the special guest of honor's address, we shall proceed for group photographs at the photo stand outside the conference hall. The following dignitaries will join the special guest of honor for the group photograph. Members of the high table, dignitaries on the first and second rows, Commander Training and Doctrine Command, Commandant's Nigerian Defense Academy, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, Principal Staff Officers from Defense and Services Headquarters, and Nigerian Army Corps Commanders. The special guest of honor, esteemed invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, having acquainted you with highlights of the day's activities, I have the honor and privilege to most reverently invite the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, and of course, Nigerian Army Medal, to please deliver the welcome address. The Chief of Army Staff will also present souvenirs to the Commander-in-Chief after his address. The Chief of Army Staff, sir.
Thank you. The special guest of honor, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, sir. The Senate President, distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawal, ably represented this morning by Chairman Senate Committee on Army, distinguished Senator Ali Ndume, and other distinguished members or senators here. Speaker House of Representatives, ably represented by the Chairman Committee on Army, Honorable Abdullah Namdas, and other honorable members. Our host, the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, His Excellency, Right Honorable Aminu Wazir Tambol Mutawallen Sokoto, CFR, His Excellency, Executive Governor of Kebbi State, Senator Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, His Excellency, Governor of Zamfara State, ably represented, His Excellency, Governor of Katsina State, also represented, Deputy Governor, Sokoto State, Honorable Manir Anya, Chairman, Senate Committee on Defense, Senator Aliu Magataka Mwamako, Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Sadihi Magashi, retired CFR, Honorable Minister of Police Affairs, Alhaji Muhammad Maigari Dingari, Chief of Defense Staff, General Elio Irabo, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral A.Z. Gambo, CFR, Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal I.O. Amao, CFR, Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, CFR, former Chiefs of Defense Staff, sir, former Service Chiefs and Inspector General of Police here present, Principal Staff Officers, Foreign Defense and Services Headquarters, Heads of Tri-Service and Nigerian Army institutions, Formation Commanders, Corps Commanders, General Officers Commanding, His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, General Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, CFR, MNI, and other well-fathers here present. Our eminent awardees, Head of Security and Law Enforcement Agencies, President, Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, and wife of Chief Army Staff, Adia Wife, and her members, captains of industry, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I may not be the one to say this, but I want to say that today, Your Excellency, we are honored and humbled by your presence here in person to attend the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022 in Sokoto, the seat of the Caliphate. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. I'm highly delighted to welcome you all to the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022. I wish to especially welcome and most respectfully thank His Excellency, President Muhammad Buhari, GSFR, for honoring our invitation to grace this event as special guest of honor and in person, despite his very tight schedule. Thank you, sir. I am also grateful for the presence of our esteemed political and traditional rulers, the Chief of Defense Staff, Service Chief both serving and retired, academicians, military strategists, as well as business and media magnates. Indeed, the array of distinguished personalities in our midst today, including retired senior military officers, amplifies the love of the people to the Nigerian Army. I wish to also especially recognize His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, CFR, Mutawallen Sokoto. We are grateful, sir, to you and the great people of Sokoto State, not only for accepting to host this conference, but also for the immense support and contribution towards its success. The Chief of Army Staff Conference is held at the end of every year with the primary aim of reviewing our activities and re-strategizing for the improved performance. The conference is taking place during a period that has witnessed unprecedented support by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari to boost the capability of the Nigerian Army and the armed forces in general. This laudable determination to speed up the modernization process of the Nigerian Army was the principal consideration that led to the selection of the theme of this year's annual conference, which is Building a Professional Nigerian Army for the 21st Century Security Environment. The theme was also intended to underscore the need for sustained efforts to adequately resource the Nigerian Army for optimal performance. So the year 2022 has been eventful for the Nigerian Army, particularly in the operational front, with concerted efforts sustained to defend the territorial integrity of the nation. On the external front, our troops have maintained close liaison with the forces of our neighboring countries, and the general security situation around our contiguous borders has remained relatively calm. Our involvement and leadership in the regional, multinational, and joint task force has continued to provide the desired direction for collective action toward decisively dealing with the menace of terrorism and other cross-border criminalities. In the home front, the major threats of terrorism, banditry, and insurgency have persisted but are largely contained across the country. Tremendous efforts have been made throughout the year to improve the general security, and positive results have been achieved in all theaters of operation. Nonetheless, we are mindful of the need to continuously appraise our activities, and this conference would be fully utilized to evolve enduring strategies to improve and conduct our constitutional roles. At this juncture, I wish to briefly, highlight some major strides achieved in the conduct of our activities in the year 2022. The fight against terrorism and banditry under Operation Haɗin Kai, Operation Hadarin Daji, Operation Forest Sanity has been intensified in the Northeast and Northwest respectively, leading to the decimation of criminals. Troops of the Nigerian Army deployed in other ongoing operations such as Operation Wild Stroke, Operation Safe Haven, and Operation Delta Safe, among others, have continued to collaborate with personnel of other security agencies to contain the myriad of security challenges in the North Central, Southeast, South-South, and Southwest regions of the country. The sustained large-scale ground offensives supported by air assets across all theaters, have continued to keep the terrorists and other criminals off balance while building the confidence of the locals. The operations have led to mass surrendering of terrorists in the Northeast and rescue of several kidnapped victims in other theaters of operation. Additionally, large cache of arms, ammunition, and improvised explosive devices materials have been recovered. The successes recorded so far in our operations are linked to induction of modern military platforms in the theaters of operations as force multipliers. These platforms include the latest tanks, armored personnel carriers or APCs, mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles, MRAs for short, artillery guns, machine guns, night fighting devices, and unmanned area surveillance devices, among several other modern equipment. The introduction of this platform has significantly raised the fighting spirit and morale of the troops across all theaters of operation. Additionally, the successes recorded are also attributed to the improved synergy in our joint operations. I therefore wish to express my profound appreciation to the Honorable Minister of Defense, the National Security Advisor, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff, the Chief of Air Staff, the Inspector General of Police, as well as heads of all other security agencies for their outstanding collaborative efforts to boost readiness of troops through mission-oriented training during the year. Training exercises such as Operation Exercise Restore Hope and Exercise Fast Bolt, conducted in conjunction with other foreign partners, have continued to sharpen the skills of troops in weapon handling and tactics. The performance of troops who participated in these exercises has significantly improved as exhibited in various theaters after their deployment. Additionally, the operational performance of formations and units has continued to improve through the conduct of other routine training activities such as Exercise Still Waters, Exercise Enduring Peace, and Exercise Golden Dawn. These exercises are traditionally conducted in the last quarter of the year in the South-South, Southwest, North-Central, and Southeast region to train the troops and also confront all forms of criminality during the Yuletide season. The exercises were flagged up on 18 October, and it's worthy to note that the drills are yielding positive results in curtailing various criminalities. In the area of local content development, the Nigerian Army has continued to empower its establishments, such as the Department of Army Transformation and Innovation, Command Engineering Depot, and Nigerian Army Special Vehicle Plant, among others, to boost our production and maintenance capacity. So far, these establishments have been able to facilitate the production of armed propelled grenades, artillery fighting vehicles, and other utility vehicles. We are also sustaining our collaborative efforts with the Defense Industry Corporation and other local manufacturing companies in this regard. The Nigerian Army has also engaged some foreign technical partners and original equipment manufacturers for repair and refurbishment of some equipment, including transfer of technologies. The effort towards provision of accommodation, on the other hand, and other infrastructure have also improved significantly under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2022. In line with this undertaking, the Director of Housing under the Department of Army Logistics was created and saddled with the responsibility of taking stock and creating a database which is currently utilized to identify and address areas of critical accommodation shortages. Accordingly, several new accommodations are under construction in various barracks across the country, as efforts are also ongoing to renovate the old ones. The initiative has provided an efficient housing management system for the Nigerian Army. Additionally, robust medical arrangements that ensure prompt medical services both within and outside the country are provided to troops, particularly those wounded in action. Efforts have also been sustained for the improvement of medical facilities in all divisions and formations, as well as Nigerian Army reference hospitals. The state-of-the-art facilities available in these hospitals are also utilized by the public, thereby enhancing civil-military relations. Furthermore, to meet the manpower requirement for new formation and units, special government intervention were provided to ensure constant recruitment of troops. It is expected that recruitment of more troops will be intensified to ensure that the Nigerian Army is adequately manned and effectively carry out its constitutional roles. In order to further motivate troops and boost their morale, prompt payment of salaries and allowances have been sustained, while new welfare packages have been introduced, such as provision of soft loans. Also, free welfare flights is while on leave and passes. Efforts have also been continued to ensure regular and systemic rotation of troops to relieve overstayed personnel and inject fresh boots in the theaters of operation. So, in line with my initiative to enhance professionalism, special intervention RSMs for short. Accordingly, the RSMs have been motivated with the issue of brand new official vehicles to ease their movement, as well as construction of befitting official residences to give them a serene home environment. This is in recognition of the key role they play in ensuring discipline among other ranks in the Nigerian Army, in good and professional conduct in the service. So our civil-military relations have continued to improve with the Department of Civil Military Affairs conducting several sensitization seminars and promptly addressing related issues. I wish to reiterate our commitment to the promotion and adherence to human rights regulations. We are constantly monitoring and reminding troops of their obligations to respect and protect the people. Necessary measures have also been put in place to identify and ensure prompt disciplinary action against erring personnel. So a lot of achievements have also been recorded in the area of force expansion through the implementation of Army's reviewed order of battle. Several brigades and units under the newly established divisions have been operationalized. Similarly, several forward operating bases have also been established in relevant areas in order to bring and extend our reach in pursuit of violent criminals and their collaborators. Additionally, there is renewed vigor from the federal government to fast-track the operationalization of Nigerian Army aviation. When fully operationalized, Nigerian Army aviation will provide rapid deployment capability, close air support, casualty evacuation, and prompt delivery of logistics supply, among other roles. It's anticipated that with the resolute of Mr. President, the vision of operationalizing the Nigerian Army aviation will be actualized, and soon too. The Nigerian Army remains committed to providing enabling environment for our democratic process to thrive. Accordingly, contingencies to ensure effective support in aid of civil authority during the upcoming 2023 general elections have been developed. The reviewed rules of engagement and code of conduct issued to troops, as well as the positive experiences gained during the gubernatorial election held in Anambra, Ekiti, and Osun states during the year, are expected to facilitate our security support before, during, and after the 2023 general elections. I assure the nation that personnel of Nigerian Army will remain apolitical and are also poised to discharge their constitutional roles professionally in line with the best global practices. It is apparent from the foregoing, sir, that Nigerian Army has made remarkable progress during the year. These achievements are due to the numerous support of our political leaders and cooperation from sister services as well as other security agencies and, of course, eminent Nigerians. It's in appreciation of that support extended to us that some of the distinguished contributors will receive Nigerian Army Recognition Award today, sir. I wish to seize this opportunity to thank the recipients for their immense support to Nigerian Army. We urge you and other well-meaning Nigerians to continue to support us. On this note, I wish to once again and most profoundly too, sir, thank Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for his unflinching support and encouragement to the Nigerian Army. I want to assure Mr. President and indeed Nigerians of our unalloyed loyalty, total commitment to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the defense of the territorial integrity of this great nation. Finally, I wish to once again welcome you all to the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
That was a welcome address by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya. He will now present souvenirs to the special guest of honor, President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari. Presentation of souvenir to the special guest of honor, further deepening the appreciation of the Nigerian Army to His Excellency. Thank you so much, Chief of Army Staff. We equally appreciate His Excellency for accepting these souvenirs. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you, Your Excellency. With that presentation, ladies and gentlemen, the stage is now set for the remarks of our host governor, the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, His Excellency, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, Mutawalin Sokoto. Your Excellency, please a round of applause for him as he comes forward.
Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our leader, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the President of the Senate, ably represented, Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, ably represented, members of the National Assembly here present, my brother, the Governor of Kebbi State, distinguished Senator Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, the Governor of the Zamfara State, represented by the Deputy Governor, my boss, the Governor of Katsina State, represented the Deputy Governor of Sokoto State, Honorable Manir Mohammed Nair, while in Sokoto, members of the Federal Executive Council here present, Your Eminence, our leader, Alhaji Dr. Muhammad Saad Abubakar, CFR MNI, the Sultan of Sokoto, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff and his dear wife, other service chiefs here present, my Lord, the Chief Judge of Sokoto State, the Honorable, the Grand Qadi of Sokoto State. Let me, at this juncture, Mr. President, lean on the established protocols. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm highly delighted to be here and to witness this all-important ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference holding here in Sokoto. Let me use this opportunity to once again welcome Mr. President and thank him for the honor done us by being here physically as special guest of honor. Let me also thank all of our guests for coming to Sokoto to attend this very auspicious event. The conference presents another golden opportunity to assess the activities of the Nigerian Army, as you have heard from the Chief of Army Staff, particularly for their under review. It is therefore my fervent hope and prayer that the outcome of the conference will positively impact on the numerous operations and other activities of the Nigerian Army across the country. Let me at this juncture, on behalf of the good people of Sokoto State, express our appreciation for the tireless efforts of the Nigerian Army and other services of the armed forces, as well as other security agencies, towards the re-establishment of peace in Sokoto State. And similarly, let me also thank and appreciate the collective contribution of all of the service chiefs, Inspector General of Police, and all heads of security agencies, and through them, their personnel, toward the improvement of general security situation in the Northwest, and in particular in Sokoto State. I also want to assure you of our government's unwavering support to the attainment of your objective as we forge a partnership for the protection of the lives and property of our citizens. And importantly, government, in collaboration with security agencies, have identified the inadequacy of logistics and manpower as major constraints to security operations in the state. Our government has therefore endeavored to support short and long-term operations with logistics and allowances for personnel. Apart from the support for security operations, the state government also provides logistics aid to all security agencies in the state and has in fact recently reviewed upward the monthly logistics support to the agencies by 150%. The government is also strengthening the capacity of its own Sokoto marshals, a local security outfit, and vigilante groups as a support to work with the security agencies in the state. Let me at this juncture also especially commend the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, our own son, for his efforts at maintaining the high standards for which the Nigerian Army is known for since his assumption of command. I will also, on behalf of the good people of Sokoto State, express appreciation to the Chief of Army Staff for choosing Sokoto State as the venue of this all-important event. I am also grateful to the efforts made by the Chief of Army Staff to renovate this conference center, as well as the numerous educational and medical projects undertaken by the Nigerian Army across the state as part of their corporate social responsibility and activities for this year's Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference. As you all focus on your brainstorming sessions, I urge you to also take time to enjoy the hospitality of the siege of the Caliphate. I wish you all fruitful deliberations that will lead to the improvement of your capabilities in the protection of our citizens and defending the territorial integrity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, on behalf of my brother governors of the Northwest, and indeed governors of the country, we appeal to you for more support in the establishment of peace and security in our country. And rest assured, Mr. President, of our continued support and collaboration in this direction for us to achieve lasting peace in our dear country. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. With those remarks by His Excellency, the stage is now set for the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, to please give his remarks. The Honorable Minister, sir. Please, let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, the Senate President, distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawan, ably represented by the Chairman Senate Committee on Army, distinguished Senator Ali Ndumi, and other distinguished senators here present. The Speaker of House of Representatives, Honorable Baby Ajamine, represented by the Chairman, House Committee on Army, Honorable Abdul Razak Mandas, and other honorable members here present. Our host, Governor, His Excellency, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, CFR, Matawallan Sokoto. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kebbi State, His Excellency, Senator Atiku Abubakar Bagudu. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, Alhaji Bello Masari, represented by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, Senator Hassan Nasir Khan. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State, whom I have referred in my last one as Governor of Zamfara State. I'm very sorry for that. His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Katsina State, Alhaji Manur Yakubu. His Excellency, the Executive Governor, the Deputy Governor of Sokoto State, Honorable Danya, the Honorable Minister of Police Affairs, Alhaji Megari Dingari, our host, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Yahya Farooq Yahya, CFR, other service chiefs and Inspector General of Police, former Chiefs of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs and Inspector General of Police here present, Principal Officers from the Defense and Service Headquarters, His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Sayyar Abubakar III, CFR, MNI, and other royal fathers here present. Other royal fathers here present, heads of security and law enforcement agencies, President, Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, captains of industries, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I am highly honored to be in your midst today at the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022. This is an avenue for the leadership of the Nigerian Army to assemble commanders, principal staff officers, and other senior officers for the purpose of reviewing the year 2022 activities. And by so doing, decision will be taken to assist in the overcoming identified challenges and the ways to charge progressive courses for the Nigerian Army. The Nigerian Army has progressed and come a long way in effectively discharging the constitutional responsibility both at home and abroad. The Nigerian Army is playing a pivotal and essential role in ensuring that peace and security of Nigeria is not compromised. Therefore, it is necessary to take the unique advantage of this conference offers to provide reasonable and workable solutions to the numerous challenges ahead. The Nigerian Army has taken training to another level, where numerous training activities are conducted to prepare troops for evolving security challenges. Training innovation in the Army has seen a combination of training exercises and operations, which have earned tremendous achievement to the Nigerian Army operations. Also, in recent times, the Army has benefited from the military hardware which were acquired to enhance our operational performance. The infusion of the needed equipment plays a significant role in the strings of successes being recorded in all the theaters of operations across the country. It is on this note that I want to sincerely appreciate the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, for his usual and quick intervention in the approval of funds for the procurement of critical equipment and platforms. We are indeed, sir, most grateful for the enormous support given to the armed forces, which has provided the requisite capabilities to tackle the myriad of security across the nation. So we are aware of the sacrifices of our service personnel which they are making, including the supreme price in the ongoing war against Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast region, the bandits in the northwest, and the secessionists in the southeast. I wish to see this opportunity to once again commiserate with the Nigerian Army and the families of personnel who have paid the supreme price to keep our dear country safe. The nation is indebted to these heroes who contributed immeasurably towards ensuring that we have a peaceful country. The Ministry of Defense will continue to work with the Nigerian Army to ensure that the welfare of the family of these deceased personnel and all veterans are accorded higher attention. We will therefore not relent on our efforts to cater for their families. The Ministry of Defense will continue to work with the stakeholders to provide the necessary strategic guidance to enhance our national security. As we draw down on the activities of the 2022, it is my hope that all officers and men will imbibe the lessons and experiences gathered during this year. I also implore all personnel to remain resolute in the discharge of your constitutional responsibility to our dear nation. The upcoming election is a crucial time for the nation, and Nigerians are expecting a peaceful process. The Nigerian Army is a key player in this process. Therefore, it is imperative to once again remind you to remain professional and apolitical during the 2023 general election. I am hopeful that the outcomes of your deliberation will not only generate new strategies for enhancing stability in our country, but also help chart a new course for the Nigerian Army. Finally, I want to thank the Chief Host, the Executive Governor, and people of Sokoto State for availing us their facilities for all these important occasions. My sincere appreciation also goes to the Chief of Defense Staff and other service chiefs for the harmonious working relationship. Before I end my remarks, I wish to once again appreciate Mr. President for his commitment towards ensuring that lasting peace and security is restored in our country. I urge the Chief of Army Staff, officers and men of the Nigerian Army not to relent in their efforts towards accomplishment of all assigned tasks and responsibilities. I wish you all fruitful deliberations. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Minister of Defense, for those wonderful remarks. Please let's appreciate him with a round of applause again. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, next on our program is the presentation of Nigerian Army Recognition Awards to eminent Nigerians who in one way or the other have made immense contributions to the success of the Nigerian Army, administratively and operationally. The Nigerian Army has over the years benefited immensely from the support of various personalities who deserve special recognition. Accordingly, the Chief of Army Staff initiated these awards to appreciate deserving personalities whose outstanding contributions have greatly impacted on the well-being of the Nigerian Army. Today, 6 distinguished personalities will receive these awards. They include Alhaji Abdul Samad Isaku Rabiu, CFR, founder and chairman, Boa Group. Alhaji Aliko Dangote GCON, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer, Dangote Group. Colonel Ahmed Ali, retired, CFR, Comptroller General, Nigerian Customs Service. Dr. Jim Ovia, CFR, Chairman, Founder, Zenith Bank. Mr. Tony Elumelu, Chairman UBA, Chairman Hess Holdings, Founder Tony Elumelu Foundation. And finally, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, retired, CFR, former Chief of Army Staff. Before I invite the recipients to receive their awards, Your Excellency, please permit me to briefly acquaint you with some of their unique and laudable contributions to the Nigerian Army, beginning with Alhaji Abdul Samad Isiaku Rabiu, CFR. Alhaji Abdul Samad Isiaku Rabiu, in appreciation of the blessings of Almighty Allah and in the spirit of giving back to the society, set up the Abdul Samad Rabiu Intervention Initiative for Africa. The initiative focuses on the key areas of enhanced health, education, social development, and security, both in Nigeria and other parts of Africa. Alhaji Abdul Samad Rabiu Intervention Initiative has also provided assistance towards capacity building of the armed forces of Nigeria, of which the Nigerian Army is a major beneficiary. Out of the recent donation of 10 billion naira as securities support fund for the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies, the Nigerian Army will receive support worth 2 billion naira in the form of equipping 7 division medical services and hospitals with 4-bed intensive care units, 3D ultrasound machines, equipping the medical laboratory and the health information management department. Others are renovation of 30 family corporal below quarters, each in 8 divisions of the Nigerian Army, building of 30 family corporal below quarters each in 8 divisions of the Nigerian Army, building of 10 family 1-bedroom corporal below quarters, also in 8 divisions of the Nigerian Army, stocking 6 command secondary schools, libraries in each geopolitical zones of the country, and upgrading of scientific laboratories in 6 command secondary schools in each geopolitical zones of the country. The Buhari Group, apart from providing job opportunities to Nigerian Army retired officers and discharged personnel, has always allowed Nigerian Army schools to conduct study tours and researches in its facilities. These contributions, among several others, Your Excellency, have direct and positive impact on Nigerian Army operations and activities, and therefore make Alhaji Abdul Samad Isiaku Rabiu a worthy recipient of the Nigerian Army Recognition Award. A look at some contributions of Aliko Dangote, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, Dangote Group, to the Nigerian Army. The families of Nigerian Army personnel have continued to benefit from the support of the Dangote Foundation in the areas of education, skill acquisition, and health. Aliko Dangote has also assisted in the renovation of accommodation in some Nigerian Army barracks. He has also maintained partnership with the Nigerian Army for the conduct of vaccination exercises in various communities in the country. The Dangote Group has continued to provide job opportunities to Nigerian Army retired and ex-service personnel. The Dangote Group also maintains close partnership with some Nigerian Army schools for conduct of study tours and researches. These contributions, Your Excellency, among several others, make Aliko Dangote a worthy recipient of the Nigerian Army Recognition Award. An insight into some contributions of Controller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ali, retired, to the Nigerian Army. The Nigerian Customs Service and Nigerian Army fostered enduring and mutual relationship under the leadership of Colonel Hamid Ali, retired. The Nigerian Customs Service has been providing timely information and logistics support to the Nigerian Army, which has led to several successful joint border operations. The Nigerian Customs Service supported Nigerian Army troops operating in the northeast Nigeria with tons of foodstuff, amongst others. This kind gesture has boosted troops' morale for efficient performance in ongoing operations. Also in the northeast, the Nigerian Customs Service assisted the Nigerian Army in winning the hearts and minds of the civil populace by providing relief materials such as drugs, medical equipment, and foodstuff during Nigerian Army humanitarian missions. The Nigerian Customs Service, under the leadership of Colonel Hamid, retired, has been instrumental to the timely clearance and delivery of military equipment procured by the federal government of Nigeria for the Nigerian Army. The Nigerian Customs Service also supported the Nigerian Army's intelligence and surveillance efforts by providing quantity 679 unmanned aerial vehicles, over 200 communication equipment, and military kits. These contributions, among numerous others, Your Excellency, have in no small measure assisted the Nigerian Army to conduct successful operations, and this makes Colonel Hamid Ali, retired, a worthy recipient of the Nigerian Army Recognition Award. A look at some contributions of Dr. Jim Ovia, CFR, founder and chairman, Zenith Bank, to the Nigerian Army. Dr. Jim Ovia is the chairman of Zenith Bank PLC, and over the years had made quantum contributions to the Nigerian Army. His penchant for secured environment is worthy of commendation. Among many of his supports to the Nigerian Army include donation of a fully equipped two-story information communication technology and vocational skills acquisition center to the Nigerian Army University View, Borno State. Ongoing construction of barracks for the newly established 181 Amphibious Battalion in Agbo, Delta State, that is worth over 500 million naira. The completion of the barracks, Your Excellency, for the accommodation of personnel and their families would boost troops' morale. During the groundbreaking ceremony of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association's proposed post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD for short, center in Abuja, Dr. Ovia made a cash donation of 50 million naira. The Nigerian Army, which constitutes over 70% of the armed forces, will be a major beneficiary from the center's management of post-traumatic stress disorder from our various operations. Dr. Jim Ovia has continued to provide job opportunities to Nigerian Army retired and ex-service personnel. Jim Ovia Foundation is also assisting families of Nigerian Army personnel in skill acquisition programs. These contributions, among several others, Your Excellency, make Dr. Jim Ovia a worthy recipient of the Nigerian Army Recognition Award. Some contributions of Mr. Tony Elumelu, founder, Tony Elumelu Foundation, toward the Nigerian Army. The renowned and highly revered Mr. Tony Elumelu has continued to impact lives of millions of people in Africa through the entrepreneurial and philanthropic activities of his foundation. Like many Nigerians and organizations, the Nigerian Army is also a beneficiary of the Tony Elumelu Foundation Skill Acquisition and Entrepreneurship programs. The occupational hazards occasioned by the conduct of operations by Nigerian Army to provide enhanced national security have led to some of our personnel paying the supreme price, leaving many spouses and widows and children as orphans. Tony Elumelu, through his foundation, and without being prompted, decided to empower, in the first instance, 220 widows of the armed forces of Nigeria. Out of this number, the foundation magnanimously offered to empower 150 spouses of deceased Nigerian Army personnel. This constitutes 70% of the total. Apart from the cost of the training, each widow would also have a startup capital of $2,000 for entrepreneurship engagement. This effort, ladies and gentlemen, has economically empowered the widows. Additionally, the Tony Elumelu Foundation has continued to assist in providing job opportunities to Nigerian Army retired and ex-service personnel. These contributions, Your Excellency, among several others, have direct impact on Nigerian Army operations as they boost the morale of the troops and therefore make Mr. Tony Elumelu a worthy recipient of the Nigerian Army Recognition Award. Some contributions of Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, retired, former Chief of Army Staff, former Ambassador to the Republic of Benin, told the Nigerian Army. Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, retired, served as the Chief of Army Staff from 2015 to 2021. The Nigerian Army witnessed unprecedented development during his tenure by initiating a wide range of programs to transform the Nigerian Army through reorganization, expansion, quality training, introduction of force multipliers, infrastructural development, strategic guidance, mentoring, monitoring, and exemplary leadership. He rejigged the Northeast counter-terrorism, counter-insurgency operations that led to the reclaiming of all territories occupied by insurgents within 2 years of assumption of duty as the 20th Chief of Army Staff, thereby tremendously enhancing security and development in Northeast Nigeria. In this regard, the strategic and visionary Lieutenant General T.Y. Buratai ensured the operationalization of 6 and 8 divisions of the Nigerian Army, 4 Special Forces Command, 8 new brigades, 23 additional battalions, revitalization of the Nigerian Army aviation, among many others, training and capacity building was given a new impetus as Army War College Nigeria, Nigerian Army Resource Center, Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command, Nigerian Army University Bureau, among many others, were established. Appreciatively, he ensured that a very good number of us in this hall are fellows and graduates of the prestigious Harvard University, United States of America. These contributions, among several others, Your Excellency, make Lieutenant General T.Y. Buratai, retired, a worthy recipient of the Nigerian Army Recognition Award. May I call for a round of applause for our awardees, please. At this juncture, Your Excellency, may I now respectfully request the Chief of Army Staff to please invite the special guest of honor, President Muhammadu Buhari, to please present the awards to the recipients. The Chief of Army Staff, sir. I will now invite the recipients one after the other to receive the award from Mr. President, beginning with Alhaji Abdul Samad Isiaku Rabiu, CFR. Sir, could you please step forward to receive your award? Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. May I now respectfully invite Alhaji Dangote, GCON, who is here suitably represented by Engineer Mansoor Ahmed, Group Executive Director, Dangote Industries Limited. Sir, please step forward. Thank you, Your Excellency. May I now invite Colonel Hamid Ali, retired, CFR, here suitably represented by Deputy Comptroller General H.K. Gumi, to please step forward to receive his award. Congratulations, sir. May I now invite Dr. Jim Ovia, CFR, who is here very suitably represented by Alhaji Abubakar Goronyo Suleiman, General Manager, Zonal Head, Northwest Zenith Bank, PLC. Congratulations, sir. May I now respectfully invite Mr. Tony O. Elumelu, CFR, to please step forward to receive his award. It is my honor to now invite Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, CFR, former Chief of Army Staff, to please rise gracefully to receive his award. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. You may please be seated, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, may I officially call for a resounding applause for the awardees, please. These are friends of the Nigerian Army. Thank you so much. Congratulations once again. the special guest of honor, our highly esteemed invited guests, distinguished participants, on assumption of office, the Commander-in-Chief pledged to bring the myriad of security challenges facing our dear country to an end. The President Commander-in-Chief immediately marched towards with action by taking some uncommon giant strides, which have indeed helped the armed forces of Nigeria, especially the Nigerian army, to degrade the nation's adversaries. This afternoon, we shall see an audiovisual documentary showcasing federal government of Nigeria's support to the Nigerian army since the inception of this administration. Please do sit back and savor the moment. Technical crew, please. Thank you.
Globally, a nation's army remains an indispensable symbol of national power. The Nigerian army has no doubt carved a niche for itself through an outstanding transformation that was heralded by a resolute declaration by the President-elect in 2015.
Let me reiterate here that the federal government under my leadership shall continue to provide the necessary support needed to meet operational, logistic training and welfare requirements of the armed forces of Nigeria.
Soon after making this declaration, President Buhari matched words with action by initiating the necessary machinery for the transformation of the armed forces of Nigeria. In particular, the Nigerian army has witnessed an unprecedented development since 2015. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, gives an insight on the key areas that benefited from the President's support.
The Nigerian army has achieved remarkable transformation under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. The key areas impacted by Mr. President's support are so numerous, and they include in the areas of fighting power, training, operations, manpower, remunerations, and medical services. Others are maintaining efficiency, accommodation, and expansion of the force.
The fighting power of the Nigerian army was at low ebb as at May 2015. However, 7 years later, the fighting power of the Nigerian army increased significantly, making it fourth in ranking among African militaries as against seventh in 2015. With the unwavering support of Mr. President through special interventions and yearly budgetary allocations between 2020 and 2022 alone, Nigerian Army has been able to procure over 400 mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles, over 500 troops-carrying vehicles and utility vehicles, and over 200 tanks and armored personnel carriers, among several others earlier procured. It is instructive to note that from 2017 to 2022, over 4,000 new fighting and utility vehicles, along with supporting artillery guns, machine guns, rifles, and millions corresponding ammunition were acquired and inducted into various theaters of operations. This translates to about 80% increment in Nigerian Army equipment holding since 2015. The Chief of Policy and Plans, Army, highlights more on this.
Apart from training to set standards, the force must have the requisite platforms, the tools to function, and the Chief has invested heavily in that direction. And so we have significant quantities of vehicles, significant quantities of small arms, significant quantities of ammunition that is available for the Army to conduct its training and operations.
With the special interventions of Mr. President, the huge procurements of modern equipment embarked upon were equally matched by the conduct of mission-oriented training both at home and abroad to ensure efficient handling and employment of the new weapons in the Nigerian Army's operations. In 2022 alone, over 500 personnel attended foreign courses, while about 3,000 have attended local courses and training programs. Since 2015, Nigerian Army has increased the level of training of its personnel to over 80%, both within and outside the country, in weapon handling and tactics. The performance of troops who participated in these trainings has significantly improved, as exhibited in various theaters after their deployment. The Chief of Training, Army, reiterates.
The Nigerian Army is collaborating with foreign expatriates for the development of special forces and counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency skills in all our troops. Our training has been modified in all our schools and tailored towards mission and theater specifics, like wargaming in all NA schools' curriculum to achieve realistic training and to develop analytical skill has also been increased.
With the significant improvement in the fighting power of the Nigerian Army as a result of the procurement of equipment and mission-specific training, the Nigerian Army was empowered to rejig its operations in line with Commander-in-Chief's directive. The Nigerian Army has restructured the conduct of its operations to meet current realities. The quantum of equipment inducted into the Army since 2015 has enabled troops to take the battle to the terrorists and criminals, particularly in the northeast, resulting in the recapture of territories hitherto held by the insurgents. This feat has continued to be replicated in other theaters of operation within the country, even as the Nigerian Army continues to perform creditably in global peace support operations. The Chief of Operations, Army, expatiates on this.
We have seen significant improvements in the outcomes of our military operations across the country. Without doubt, a lot has to do with the state of affairs. First, I must say, is the transformational leadership style of the Chief of Army Staff, which has brought on a change in institutional behavior and approach to operations. Secondly, we have witnessed the arrival of a whole range of military equipment that are well suited for the kind of operations we pursue.
The intervention of Mr. President also impacted significantly in the general administration of personnel of the Nigerian Army, particularly the enhancement of manpower, remuneration, and medical services. The unflinching resolve of Mr. President to turn the tide in the fight against insecurity necessitated progressive recruitment of manpower into the Nigerian Army. Prior to 2015, the highest number of recruits enlisted ranged between 2,500 to 3,000 per intake. Currently, the Army has trained over 55,000 recruits from 2015 to 2022. This represents over 100% increase prior to 2015. Similarly, during the same period, a total of 4,247 officers were trained in the Nigerian Defense Academy and commissioned by Mr. President. This was made possible through the expansion of training facilities and posting of more instructors for effective and realistic training. It is also in record that increments of about 100% in salaries and allowances of Nigerian Army personnel were implemented by the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. This has no doubt boosted troops' morale and enhanced their zeal to discharge their constitutional mandate. Furthermore, in line with Mr. President's pledge to cater for the families of deceased personnel, over 40,000 children and wards of personnel who died in active service are on the Nigerian Army scholarship from 2015 to date, amounting to an increase of over 70%. In the area of medical services, robust medical arrangements that ensure prompt medical services have been enhanced, leading to about 85% reduction in the number of troops awaiting major medical treatments. About 300 personnel were evacuated abroad between 2015 to 2022 for further medical attention. A total of 24 major medical facilities have been constructed across the country from 2015 to 2020, while the construction of another set of 14 medical facilities is currently ongoing, indicating about 100% increase in medical infrastructural development in the Nigerian Army.
First of all, I want to thank Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, members of the National Assembly, and the Chief of Army Staff for making it possible to recruit able-bodied Nigerians to address the great challenges bedeviling our dear country. We recruit between 6,000 to 6,500 candidates biannually in our training depots in Zaria, depending on the manpower planning of the Nigerian Army. So far, over 55,000 soldiers have been recruited from 2015 till date. Additionally, within the period under review, over 4,500 officers were trained in Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, and commissioned into the Nigerian Army.
The Nigerian Army production and maintenance system has improved immensely between 2015 and 2022. This is attributed to the procurement of modern production, repair and recovery machines. Furthermore, the magnanimous support of Mr. President galvanized the resuscitation of the Nigerian Army Special Vehicle Plant in Bauchi to facilitate the repair of armored fighting vehicles. It is gratifying to note that the plant has carried out the repairs of over 300 armored fighting vehicles in the last 7 years. In addition, the Command Engineering Depot Kaduna carried out the refurbishment, retrofitting and production of over 3,000 weapons and over 400 armored fighting vehicles and other transport vehicles. Additionally, the President's directive for improved local content was also demonstrated in the design, production and upgrading of the Nigerian Army's indigenous Ezugu mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle and other platforms. As part of the President's pledge to transform the Nigerian Army, efforts were made to surmount the deficit in accommodation and other amenities. As the strength of the Army increased, special interventions were made to construct new barracks accommodation and renovate the old ones. More than 800 new blocks of accommodations were constructed, and about 2,000 old housing units were renovated and remodeled in various formations and units across the country between 2016 and 2022. This amounts to over 80% increment in accommodation prior to 2015. Buhari Barracks, Abuja, to provide the requisite offices, houses and facilities. The Chief of Logistics Army amplifies further.
During this period, there has been a lot of acquisition of platforms and logistic equipment for formations and units in the Nigerian Army, which has gone a long way to enhance their operational efficiency. In the area of infrastructural development, there has been a huge support from the Mr. President in the area of provision of accommodation and renovation. There has been massive renovations in our various barracks, both for living accommodations and offices.
The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has provided the necessary support for implementation of the Nigerian Army's reviewed order of battle, which caters for the expansion of force structure. Efforts have been intensified through the intervention of Mr. President to operationalize formations and units under the newly established divisions. It is pertinent to state that the creation of the Nigerian Army Aviation is one of the major aspects of the ongoing expansion process. The Nigerian Army Aviation was established in 2014, and presently some pilots have already been trained as efforts are ongoing to procure appropriate platforms to kickstart the force. The renewed vigor for the operationalization of the Nigerian Army Aviation emanated from a strong desire to effectively tackle contemporary security challenges across the country. When fully operationalized, the Nigerian Army Aviation will provide rapid deployment, close air support, casualty evacuation, prompt delivery of logistics supply, among other roles. It is envisaged that with the unflinching support of Mr. President, the vision to operationalizing the Nigerian Army Aviation will be actualized.
The improvement in these areas, among others, have collectively enhanced the Nigerian Army's capacity to effectively carry out its constitutional mandate. I'm therefore delighted to once again acknowledge and appreciate the tremendous support of President Muhammadu Buhari in fast-tracking the transformation of the Nigerian Army. Without a doubt, the Nigerian Army, Mr. President, under your watch, is now better placed to defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria and give aid to the civil authority. Thank you, Mr. President, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. A resounding applause for the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari. The special guest of honor, sir, at this point, may I now respectfully invite the Chief of Policy and Plans Army, Major General A.B. Omozoje, to please deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army. The Chief of Policy and Plans.
The special guest of honor, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, the Senate President, ably represented by distinguished Senator Ali Ndume, Chairman, Senate Committee on Army, the Speaker, House of Representatives, ably represented by Honorable Abdurazak Namdas, Chairman, House Committee on Army, and other honorable members here present. Our host, His Excellency Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, Commander, Order of the Federal Republic, the Executive Governor of Kebbi State, His Excellency Distinguished Senator Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, and representatives of the governors of Katsina and Zamfara states, the Deputy Governor of Sokoto State, Honorable Manil Dan Iya, the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salih Magashi, retired CFR, the Honorable Minister of Police Affairs, Alhaji Mohammed Megeri Dingyadi, the Chief of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs and the Inspector General of Police, the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Alhaji Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, Member, National Institute. Our eminent are these, former Chiefs of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs here present, President of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, Captains of Industries, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am Major General A.B. Omozoje, Chief of Policy and Plans Army. I count it a great privilege and honor to, on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, officers and men of the Nigerian Army, move the vote of thanks at the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022. I wish to begin by most reverently expressing our thanks and acknowledging the benevolence and mercies of the Almighty God, Creator of all, on our dear nation Nigeria, and for making it possible for us all to witness this auspicious event. I wish to most humbly and respectfully express our profound gratitude to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, Grand Commander, Order of the Federal Republic, for his unprecedented and unwavering support to the Nigerian Army. This support has been the secret and catalyst for all the successes and transformation of the Nigerian Army. With a deep sense of honor, we appreciate you, Your Excellency, Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, for choosing to personally declare the 2022 Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference open. Our morale is high. Our loyalty to the President, Commander-in-Chief, and to the Constitution of the Federal Republic remains unalloyed. The Nigerian Army remains committed to your vision of a safe, secure, and prosperous nation. Let me seize this opportunity to acknowledge the leadership of the National Assembly, here ably represented by the Chairman Senate Committee on Army, distinguished Senator Ali Ndume, and the Chairman House Committee on Army, Honorable Abdurazak Namdas, and other distinguished members of the National Assembly here present. Your collective effort at providing the necessary support to the Nigerian Army through various budgetary appropriations and oversight functions is deeply appreciated. Your constructive approach to issues of national security has in no small measure contributed to the successes of the Nigerian Army. I wish to specially thank our chief host, His Excellency the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, Commander, Order of the Federal Republic, Mutawal and Sokoto. We are grateful to you and the good people of Sokoto State for hosting us and making provisions for the conference and other ongoing operations within Sokoto State. Our gratitude also goes to the Executive Governor, Kebbi State, His Excellency Senator Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, Commander of the Order of the Niger, for personally gracing this event and for your support to ongoing operations in Kebbi State. Let me also acknowledge the support here ably represented for their support to ongoing operations in their various states. Our sincere thanks to the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salim Magashi, retired, for your strategies on the path of victory and transformation. This is also an opportunity to once more acknowledge your role in raising the present crop of the leadership of the armed forces. We were all your cadets. Thank you for your mentorship. I will not fail to acknowledge the Minister of Police Affairs, Alhaji Mohammed Megiri Dingyadi, for gracing this occasion. Your presence speaks to the renewed cooperation and synergy among the armed forces and the police. We thank you, sir, for your immense support. Our gratitude goes to the Chief of Defense Staff, General Elio Erabo, for your unique leadership of the armed forces of Nigeria, which has engendered an unprecedented synergy and jointness in the operations of the armed forces of Nigeria. We are grateful, sir. We want to extend our appreciation to the Chief of the Naval Staff, the Chief of the Air Staff, and the Inspector General of Police, and heads of security, intelligence, and paramilitary agencies for your support to and cooperation with the Nigerian Army. This has engendered a seamless integration of our operations and activities towards the attainment of national security objectives. I wish to deeply appreciate our former Chief of Defense Staff and former service chiefs here with us today for your continued support and mentorship. We are grateful for the foundations you laid upon which we are building today as we continue to tap from your wealth of experience. Our profound gratitude also goes to our royal fathers, led by the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Alhaji Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, Member National Institute for your fatherly guidance and counsel during the planning and preparation for this conference. We shall continue to rely on your fatherly support and guidance. Let me seize this opportunity to once more congratulate and thank the distinguished recipients of the Nigerian Army Recognition Awards. Your love for country and indeed benevolence to the Nigerian Army is highly appreciated. At a time when some misguided elements deliberately work to disparage and discredit the successes of the security forces, as the true conscience of the nation, you stand out, along with patriotic citizens of this nation, in support of your own army, the Nigerian Army. We thank you. Let me, at this juncture, appreciate our spouses and members of our families under the leadership of the President of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, Mrs. Salamatu F. Yahaya. We are grateful for your support and impact in the barracks and host communities through education, healthcare, and skill acquisition and entrepreneurship training programs. To other distinguished dignitaries, invited guests, members of the press, we appreciate you for being with us today to mark this memorable event. Finally, Almighty grant all journey mercies as you return to your respective destinations. Long live the President and Commander-in-Chief. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much, Chief of Policy and Plans, Army, Major General A.B. Omozoje, for that vote of thanks on behalf of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army. May I call for another round of applause for him, please. Thank you so much, sir. Your Excellency, having listened to the vote of thanks, at this juncture, may I respectfully request the Chief of Army Staff to please invite the special guest of honor, Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, for his address. The Chief of Army Staff, sir.
Thank you. Please sit down. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, and Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kebbi State, Deputy Governors of Sokoto and Zamfara States, Chairman, Senate and House Committee on Army and other members of the National Assembly, Speaker, Sokoto State House of Assembly, Honorable Ministers of Defense and Police Affairs, Chief of Defense Staff, Service Chiefs and Inspector General of Police, Your Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be in your midst today for the opening ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022. The event has remained a regular platform for the holistic review of the Nigerian Army operational and administrative activities. I am optimistic that the conference will afford you the avenue to analyze and review the lessons learned from this year to enhance your activities in the coming year. As you review the activities of 2022 and make projections for 2023, I urge you to focus on consolidating on the achievements made so far and ensure continuity to improve the country's security situation. As a key element of our national power, the Nigerian Army will continue to be a major catalyst for our development, especially by providing the needed aid to civil authority. This administration has therefore maintained a robust policy towards modernization of the Nigerian Army and the armed forces in general. It is evident that the ongoing progressive modernization of the Nigerian Army under our administration has greatly improved the capacities as well as combat efficiency of service to discharge its roles. I wish to commend the Chief of Army Staff and other service chiefs, as well as heads of various security agencies, for your determination and improved synergy in accomplishing my directives. I am confident that the renewed vigor and standard injected in your operations, as well as our collective resolve and improved civil-military relations, would enable us to achieve our desired objectives. I wish to now reiterate that the provision of security to Nigerians will continue to receive premium attention by this administration. Accordingly, deliberate actions are going to provide the necessary support to enhance our national security. Numerous equipment and facilities have been provided to boost the capability of the Nigerian Army and, by extension, the armed forces. Sufficient intervention will be made to fast-track the activation of the Nigerian Army aviation. Additionally, is the acquisition of platforms for the Army aviation, which has been considered in the 2023 budget. This modernization drive would be vigorously sustained as efforts are also being made to reform our indigenous military-industrial complex through partnership with our allies. I am optimistic that this objective would be achieved soon to make us self-reliant in meeting our defense needs. I wish to also acknowledge the success achieved by the Army through the conduct of various training exercises. These exercises, such as Restore Hope, Fast Boat, Still Waters, Enduring Peace, Golden Dawn, among others, have continued to improve the readiness of our troops, while also checkmating various threats to security across the country. I must also commend you on the tremendous successes achieved in the war against terrorism, particularly in the Northeast region. The positive feedbacks I have been receiving reflect that an appreciable level of stability is being attained in the region. Furthermore, the increased instances of surrender by terrorists is an indication of your resilience and resolve to bring lasting peace to the Northeast. By the same token, your contribution to curtailing the youth restiveness and secessionist struggle in the Southeast, as well as banditry in the North Central and Northwest regions, are laudable. This could be attributed to conduct of intelligence-driven operations and improved synergy among the security agencies in the country. You must therefore maintain the tempo in all theaters and double your efforts in information gathering, as this will greatly assist you to comprehensively defeat all forms of security threats facing the nation. I assure you that the country remains grateful for your selfless services and sacrifices. We will forever be indebted to the officers and soldiers that paid the supreme price while defending Nigeria. The government will continue to cater for the families of the fallen heroes, as efforts are also sustained to improve the general welfare of the personnel through the provision of better amenities and programs. Let me also acknowledge the good relationship you have maintained with all sectors of the government, which has facilitated the fulfillment of our mandate. You should endeavor to work closely with all government ministries, departments, and agencies to facilitate the post-conflict stabilization process. We shall also continue to galvanize and encourage the public to support your efforts. I urge you to continue to improve your human rights obligations during your operations in line with global best practices. This is the major pathway for winning the hearts and minds of the people. It is also imperative for me to state that the Army and the armed forces in general will be required to support the civil authority by providing a peaceful environment to enable the successful conduct of the 2023 general elections. It is, however, imperative for all personnel to remain apolitical and continue to operate within the framework of the Constitution while performing this constitutional role. I am pleased to note that the Chief of Army Staff has issued a reviewed rules of engagement and code of conduct to guide personnel during the 2023 elections. The professionalism you exhibited in the successful conduct of the Anambra, Osun, and Ekiti state election should also be reflected in the 2023 general elections. Finally, as you deliberate during this conference, I wish to remind you to evolve enduring strategies that will consolidate your efforts in securing the country. I am happy to note that the leadership of the Army has continued to maintain a resolute posture for fulfillment of its role within the Constitution. I consider that the theme of this year's Chief of Army Staff Conference, which is Building a Professional Nigerian Army for the 21st Century Security Environment, is germane, and I am optimistic that the theme will address the purpose of the conference. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to formally declare the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022 open and wish you all fruitful deliberation. I thank you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, you may please be seated. You may please take your seats. That was the address of the special guest of honor, President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, at the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2022. Please, let's put our hands together once more to appreciate His Excellency. The special guest of honor, sir, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, may I humbly request members of the high table to please remain seated while the following proceed to the photo stand outside the conference center for a group photograph with the special guest of honor. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, shall we please have the national anthem? Thank you so very much. To join the special guest of honor in the group photograph, you may please be seated. To join the special guest of honor in the group photograph, you have members of the high table, dignitaries in the first and second rows, Commander Tradoc, Commandant Nigerian Defense Academy, Chief of Defense Intelligence, Principal Staff Officers from Defense and Services Headquarters, and Nigerian Army Corps Commanders. Thank you for your attention, and journey mercies as you journey back to your various destinations. Once again, I'm Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, Director, Army Public Relations, and it's been an honor to be your compere on these auspicious occasions.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
It's always a great morning on the TVC Breakfast Show.
Thanks for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
With the array of stories that matter and what's behind them.
As you say, the first blow indicates the direction of government.
Tell us what really is going on between your union and the federal government.
Once it's generated,
if you don't use it, it's waste. We are not even sure whether we have a strategy for security.
Are you saying that there was nothing wrong in that?
Was he the one driving the taxi?
Answer the question.
Refill your morning with all you need to know.
Like yes, just mundane lyrics.
Yes.
How does that fit into your scheme of events or duties right now?
No chief of staff, no general has the right to call a governor to order. The governor has been elected by his people.
Start your day right, because this is the breakfast show that adds to your breakfast. TVC Breakfast.